Hi everybody and welcome to Season 76 of Bearcat Update. I'll be updating you on how the seasons are looking for our spring sports. From the winding down of basketball, the toppling of MIAA track and field records, and everything in between. We got a lot to cover, so let's get right into it. The track and field NCAA Championships have come to an end after three Bearcats started the weekend strong, securing their spot in Saturday's final. Dominic Sedlak destroyed his school record after clocking a 6.66 seconds in the 60-meter dash. He qualified in the finals alongside Riley Witt and Truman Hare. The men's distance medley relay team finished with a spectacular time of 9 minutes and 33 seconds, destroying their own school record. This time ranked second fastest time in Division II history, securing a national runner-up finish. A member of the relay team, Riley Witt, received the NCAA Elite 90 Award for the 2025 NCAA Division II Men's Indoor Track and Field Championship. The Elite 90 is proudly awarded to the student athlete with the highest cumulative GPA at the final site for each of the NCAA's 90 championships. Witt held a 4.0 GPA and is the fifth Bearcat to receive this honor. Congratulations, Riley. Northwest didn't stop there, though. The Bearcats secured more spots in Saturday's final after Maxime Toron and Moses Karoma both ran qualifying times. All of us at Bearcat Update wish the Bearcats good luck at the tournament continues. The women's basketball team season ended with a tough first-round loss in the MIAA tournament Wednesday. The 15 and 14 Bearcats ranked number 8 heading into the tournament, where they faced the 18 and 13 Lions for their first tournament matchup since 2013. Northwest fought hard offensively in the first half after leading Missouri Southern right up until halftime. The Bearcats unfortunately never recovered the lead in the second half after the Lions went on a 20-4 run and kept Northwest scoreless for 9 minutes and 34 seconds. Molly Hartnett led the team with 16 points, and Kelsey Fields ended her senior season with 3 back-to-back games with double-doubles. The Bearcats finished its 4th consecutive season with a 500 record at 15 and 15. Thank you for the amazing season, Bearcats. But as spring sports begin winding down, our director Dante Distefano is going to take us through the twists and turns of the spring schedule of Bearcat Sports.
Welcome to Bearcat Stats. I'm Dante Distefano, and this is a segment where I cover the top stats leader for Bearcat Sports. Let's get right into it. Men's basketball just wrapped up their season on March 1st, losing to Emporia State 79-67, finishing the season 6-22. The season leaders for the men's in points and assists was Emery Knox with 11 points and 4 assists per game. Leading in boards was Byron Alexander with 4 rebounds per game, and Jack Radigan having a total of 33 blocks on the season. Moving over to the women's, they finished their season on March 5th, losing first round in the MIAA tournament to Missouri Southern, finishing the season 15-15. The stats leader for the women in points was Kaylee Keston with 14 points per game. Leading in assists was Molly Hartnett with 4 assists per game, and for rebounds, Kelsey Fields pulled down 8 boards per game. For track and field, 18 Bearcats are on their way to Indianapolis to compete for a national championship. After finishing up the MIAA championship, both the men's and women's finished second for total team score. For the women's, this is their 4th consecutive runner-up in the MIAA championship. And for the men's, this marks the highest team point total in program history. Baseball is back in action. The men have started the season off 6-8. Leading in RBIs is Kai Young with 22 on the season. Leading in hits is Dylan Huft and Ryan Williams with 20 on the season. Moving over to the mound, Ben Haig has 15 strikeouts with an 8.53 ERA. The softball team is 10-9 on the season. Leading in RBIs is Skylar Pieper with 18. Leading in hits is Amara Love with 29 on the season. Moving over to the mound, Reen Moore is undefeated, being 5-0 when she is in the circle, and having a total of 24 strikeouts for the season. Moving over to men's tennis, they have started the season off on a solid note with a current record of 3-2. Singles leaders Dominic Wines is 5-0, Vinny Rodriguez is 4-1, and Antonin Leborn is also 4-1. The top doubles team is Vinny Rodriguez and Rafal Bednarchik are 4-1 on the season. Hopping over to women's tennis, they are 1-2 on the season. Singles leaders for the Bearcat are Alva Norberg, who is 3-0, and Camila Franzen is 2-1. Leading doubles are Ann Carval Haparera and Alva Norberg are 3-0 on the season. That's all for Bearcat Stats. I'm Dante Distefano. Back to you, Jason.
Thanks, Dante. The week started hot for the baseball team after they secured their first sweep over Washburn in 6 years on Monday. Northwest led Washburn 6-1 the whole game until the Ichabod scored 5 runs in the 7th, tying the game. The Bearcats immediately responded with another 5 runs in the 8th, winning 11-6. Unfortunately, Northwest couldn't keep their momentum after dropping a loss against William Jewell on Tuesday. The Bearcats had an early 3-0 lead and held the Cardinals scoreless through 3 innings. The Cardinals took advantage of the mound changes, though, and Northwest couldn't hold on to their lead, losing 8-6. The Bearcats started a 3-game series yesterday against Pittsburgh State, unfortunately dropping the first 2 in a doubleheader. They will look to end the series with a win today. The softball team had a difficult day after Rogers State had a doubleheader sweep against the Bearcats on Friday. The Hillcats were hot on the bats in Game 1 after tallying 3 home runs and 10 hits. Northwest responded by cutting the lead in half to 4-2, but struggled to keep the bats rolling for the rest of the game, losing 7-2. In Game 2, Northwest changed their offensive momentum after a total of 14 hits. Unfortunately, they struggled to string those hits together and get runners home, leaving 15 stranded and losing 12-7 to Rogers State. Northwest will face Northeastern State in a doubleheader today at 12 p.m. and 2 p.m. Good luck, Bearcats. But as spring sports keep rolling, we're going to take our first break of the show. When we get back, we'll give you a preview of the football season. We'll be right back.
Running since 1971, broadcast 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Featuring programs and news from National Public Radio, as well as Americana, jazz, and classical music. KXCV 90.5 FM Maryville, KNRW 88.9 FM Chillicothe.
Tyrell, did you hear the news?
No, what's up, Noah?
Well, there's a new season of Nerd Central. No, man, there's so much new stuff.
Like what?
Well, Hero to Zero, Star Wars lore.
Oh my God, the Magical Mystery Music Tour and Reel and Beats. This is incredible.
Want to go check it out on YouTube?
You know I do.
That Reels and Beats pack sounds very interesting.
I just love the host of that one. That one's great.
Seems interesting.
Welcome back to Bearcat Update. The golf team tees off for the first time tomorrow since October 14th. The Bearcats will play through Tuesday at the Midwest Intercollegiate in Warrensburg. Last season, Northwest ranked 11th in the Central Region and 67th in the nation, led by coach Lathan Croy. The Bearcats averaged a 308.86 scoring average and will remain ranked 11th heading into this year. The team was led by Paige Hoffman, who averaged 74.93 strokes per round, followed by Madeline Schlepfer, who with a scoring average of 76.5. We wish the team luck as they start their season. A lot has changed for the Bearcat football team. After bringing in a brand new head coach, we're finally seeing the formation of the new look Cats as they officially began practice ahead of Northwest spring break. The team is about a month away from the green and white scrimmage, where we'll get a look at what the team is going to shape up like as the group prepares for what could be the program's 30th consecutive winning season. But as we head into the upcoming football season, it's Anthony Martinez that will give us a preview of next year's new look Bearcats.
Hey guys, I'm Anthony Martinez, and I'm reporting for Bearcat Update. Today, we'll be previewing the Northwest football team ahead of their 2025 season coming this fall. It is a new era in Bearcat football, as during the offseason, Northwest did not re-sign coach Rich Wright to a new deal to the university football team. This made room to bring in John McManaman to take over the program as he becomes the 21st head coach in program history. John McManaman is a Bearcat alum who played quarterback from 1998 to 2002. He was a part of 2 national championship squads in 1998 and 1999. He will be looking to take that championship experience and bring it back to Northwest football. The Northwest football team is coming off a 6-5 regular season from last year. As they missed the playoffs, this team will be looking to avenge themselves from last season. Their schedule includes a season that begins with a 2-game road trip, opening the season at Minnesota State on August 28th and traveling to Washburn the next weekend. The home opener at Bearcat Stadium is set to be versus Texas A&M Kingsville on Saturday, September 13th. The headliner games in the schedule include a clash versus Central Oklahoma during Family Weekend, a road game versus UCM where they will encounter former Northwest head coach Rich Wright, and it also includes a game versus Nebraska Kearney on homecoming. The Bearcats will host Senior Day on November 8th versus rivals Missouri Western. Finally, closing the season at Pittsburgh State, that could have playoff stakes at this point of the season. With new changes that took place within this team can accomplish amazing things and have a culture shift. The countdown to the season opener will be here before you know it. This is Anthony Martinez with Bearcat Update, signing off.
Thanks, Anthony. Hey, it's halftime. If you like what you see, make sure to like, subscribe, and click the bell to be the first to know when we post new content. As we take our second break of the show, stick with us as we throw things over to KZLX. We'll be right back.
We're going to turn the dial a bit here from X106.7. I'm Wiley Ray. Let's get right into it. Cue the intro. What started out as a hot season for the women's team ended at 500 as the women's basketball squad goes 15-15 overall and 8-11 in MIAA action. The women's team fell in the quarterfinal round of the MIAA women's basketball tournament to Missouri Southern 59-50. Kaylee Keston, the high scorer for the Bearcats, and Kelsey Fields 2 points shy of her 3rd consecutive double-double. Looking at the season as an overall aspect, Kaylee Keston led the way scoring with 14 points per game, and Kelsey Fields averaged 8.1 rebounds per game. Things on the other side of the court for the men's basketball team wasn't as shiny of a season as the team goes 6-22 overall, only winning 4 games in the MIAA. This team went winless for the first time in over 20 years at Bearcat Stadium, and leading the way for them was Emery Knox, averaging 11 points a game, and true freshman Marcus Glock averaging 9.1 points per game. Even though the Northwest Missouri State squad didn't make the big dance here this March, Ben McCollum, the past coach for the Bearcats, as well as Bennett Sturtz, as well as Mitch Muscari, Daniel Abreu, and Isaiah Jackson have found themselves finding that seat in the Division I March Madness. Bennett Sturtz was named Larry Bird Missouri Valley Conference Player of the Year, and I think that we're going to see Drake sitting at a 10 seed in the east side of the bracket. But even though the Bearcat season is over, our producer is going to jump in and talk about some former Bearcats and their historic run. Take it away, Killian.
With the conclusion of another Bearcat basketball season, I figured it was time to take a look at a few familiar faces that are making waves in the NCAA. Former Northwest head coach Ben McCollum made the move to Drake University, but I think during his drive to Des Moines, he must have listened to a lot of DJ Khaled, because all he does is win. Last Sunday, it was the group of former Bearcats that clinched the regular season Missouri Valley Conference Championship. With the most recent accomplishment, It was head coach Ben McCollum's 12th consecutive conference championship. After ending his Northwest career with 11 consecutive MIAA regular season championships, he brought his winning ways to Drake. So for today's video, we're going to take a look at what the world was like the last time Ben McCollum didn't top conference standings. Well, for starters, way back in 2013, Central Missouri took home the #1 spot in the MIAA. LeBron James just became the first player in NBA history to score over 50,000 points. At the conclusion of the 2012-2013 season, he had just 24,952. The #1 movie of the year was Disney's Frozen. The film grossed over $1.28 billion and became the highest-grossing animated movie of all time. For the parents out there, it was this little snowman that tortured you for the rest of the decade. As it relates to other Bearcat sports, the football team would go on to win the first of Adam Dorrell's 3 championships, finishing 15-0 with a national championship victory over Lenoir-Rhyne in what was the last of 28 straight championships hosted in Florence, Alabama. While the Bearcats basketball season didn't go the way we had hoped, after a 6-22 season, Bearcat fans can still cheer on the group that brought us so many memories. With March Madness looming, the former Bearcats looked to make a run towards immortality. But ahead of a playoff run, it was Bennett Sturtz that was honored as the Larry Bird Player of the Year. With the way things are going, Sturtz could become the first Bearcat to hear his name called on draft day. Just like every other Bearcat fan, I'm happy to see them succeed, and will be cheering them on as they tip off this week. Along with everyone on the crew of Bearcat Update, I'd like to offer our support as they chase even more greatness. But as for now, I'm Killian Beck, and I'll catch you on the flip side.
Thanks, Killian. Now let's head to the film room for Ray's plays and highlights. This week, we're going to take a look at the highest returning scorer from last year's Bearcat men's basketball team, with Marcus Glock headed into his 2nd year at the big time. We figured we'd show his skills and how he could utilize, like past Bearcats. Let's go on to play number 1. This one, we find Marcus Glock for a top-of-the-key 3, and that's been kind of the key. A lot of things have gone right with Marcus Glock finding a 3 at the top of the key or at the wing. You see Moose go over to MIAA. MIAA stuck in his tracks, finds the open Glock, who fires a 3 from beyond the arc. Now let's dive deeper into this play right here. I want you to stop right here. So as you see, Moose is double-teamed. MIAA not really playing far away basketball, but he's playing close, which finds a good look for Moose to bounce it down to him. But MIAA gets stopped right away by a Ichabod defender who's playing good defense. However, he doesn't have his eyes to the defender being Marcus Glock. And if anyone knows who the freshman Marcus Glock is, they know that he is a force to be reckoned with when he's open from beyond the arc. Let's let this play roll a little bit more. This guy, a sniper from the arc, and he drains that 3 from long range. Marcus Glock finds himself similar to Isaiah Jackson, Bennett Sturtz, Trevor Hudgens, is even farther back Bearcats. Let's go into our second play here, as it is a Marcus Glock pass for a Moustakis 3. This one, good job by Glock coming down. He breaks into that defense, and I want you to pause it right now. So as you see, you got 1 jet, you have 2, you have 3, and coming over on the far side as the help side is a 4th jet. Now they're crashing the lane like you're supposed to do on defense, and Marcus Glock could go up, try to draw the foul, but instead let this play roll out. Glock sees it, takes a stop, pivots out for a Moustakis 3, and similar to how Damian Lillard is in the NBA, Marcus Glock just keeps delivering dimes. This has been another edition of BCU at the X. We'll be back in a week. Next up, we're going to send it to Jaden Varner as he runs down next week's Bearcat schedule. Take it away, Jaden.
Welcome back to Next Week in Bearcat Sports. I'm your host, Jaden Varner, back to give you the rundown for Bearcat Sports. Starting off with baseball, they're coming off of a series sweep of Washburn and improving their home record to 4-1 on the year. They'll be finishing up an away series against Pittsburgh State today. After that, 8 of their next 9 games will be at home, with a series against Arkansas Fort Smith and Rogers State, and 3 one-off games against Central Missouri, William Jewell, and Missouri Western. The Bearcats have started off the month of March on a hot streak and have a ton of momentum coming into the long homestand. Look for Dylan Huff to have a great set of games, as he's second on the team in batting average with .329, right behind Ryan Williams with .342. Williams continues to play great ball, and I expect him and Huff to be major contributors as they begin the next stretch of home games. Switching over to softball, they've had a hard schedule the last week, facing the number 6th ranked Rogers State and at number 7th ranked Augustana. After finishing up their first stretch of home games on Saturday, the Bearcats will be back on the road heading to Central Missouri, Fort Hays, and Nebraska Kearney. The Bearcats are on a 6-game losing streak and will look for a spark in Omara Love, who has taken big steps in the last month, leading the team in multiple statistical categories. Gage Pinkerton is also a player to look out for, as she's also been on the rise. This will be a long stretch of games coming up for the Bearcats, and I'm hoping for big things and an end to the losing streak. A nice couple of wins against Central Missouri on Tuesday would be a great start. Both men's and women's tennis picked up wins against Southeastern Oklahoma with a final of 4-3. They also had 5 Bearcats included in the ITA national rankings, and they'll be taking on Arkansas Fort Smith on Friday. As always, make sure to go out and support your Bearcats. That's all I have for you this week. I'll see you next week. Back to you, Jason.
Thanks, Jaden. Before we head out, we're going to take a trip down memory lane. But before we get into that, we'll take our third and final break of the show. We'll once again be right back.
Northwest Tower Yearbook has dedicated over a century to documenting life on campus and in the Maryville community. The award-winning organization has numerous Pacemaker Awards and a spot in the Associated Collegiate Press Hall of Fame. Learn more about Tower at the handles below.
Hey Tyrell, why don't you tell everyone what we do here?
Well, yeah, of course, because here at Alternatives and Options, we find uncommon solutions to common problems. For instance, did you know that tinfoil could be used as an alternative to batteries?
Our goal is to find the most effective, efficient, and affordable options for you.
Whether we're in the lab.
So how much do you really know about laundry detergent? Or on the field? We'll do our best
to give you the best
alternatives and options.
What's up, everybody? This is Steve-O. What's up, everybody? This is Steve-O. You're watching KNWT, practically the national champs of college TV. Yeah.
Welcome back to Bearcat Update. Let's take a look into Bearcat Past. For Bearcat fans that have been watching for a while, they might have had a moment of deja vu when they saw offensive tackle Pierce Wand warming up. Pierce dons his father's number 77 jersey and now looks to fulfill the role his father Seth held down for years in the early 2000s. Seth Wand was the cornerstone of the Bearcat football team from 1999 to 2002 as he kept quarterbacks safe, allowing just a single sack in his 3 years. Wand was also a multiple-time first-team All-MIAA selection, as well as a Missouri Sports Hall of Fame member. Along with his son Pierce, another Wand will be joining Bearcat Nation as Boston Wand signed on as a member of the 2025 women's basketball recruiting class. For an in-depth look at Seth's career, we're going to send it over to Kassidy Davis as she unveils more about the Bearcat legend.
Left tackle, a quarterback's best friend, and a legend. These are just some of the things that define Bearcat alumni Seth Wand. Despite the fact that he hasn't repped the green and white in 20 years, his legacy still leaves an impact today. From 1998 to 2002, Wand let his playing do the talking, as a gentle giant allowed just a single sack while attending Northwest. He was recognized as first-team All-MIAA in his sophomore, junior, and senior seasons. Seth protected the blind side of first-team All-MIAA quarterback John McMenamin, as he set 27 Northwest and MIAA passing records during his playing days. And for McMenamin, he still holds the Northwest school records for passing yards in a game with 473 yards versus Central Missouri. As for Wand, he was selected by the Houston Texans in the third round with the 75th pick in 2003, and he remains the highest drafted Bearcat in the illustrious history of Northwest football. Since his playing days wrapped up, he has been named to the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame. But Seth Wand's legacy continues to grow as his son Pierce is entering his sophomore season here at Northwest, while playing the same position as his father. So with that, Pierce entered Maryville with big shoes to fill. He appeared in 2 games his freshman season before being redshirted last year, And with a pair of offensive linemen graduating, Pierce has a shot at nabbing a spot on the line next year. Over 20 years ago, it was Seth Wand's job to protect new head football coach John McMenamin's blind side. But now, in 2025, it's McMenamin returning the favor as he looks out for Pierce Wand and guides him to success. I'd like to wish them all well on behalf of everyone on the Bearcat Update crew. But as for now, I'm Kassidy Davis, and I'll be back next week with more.
Thanks, Kassidy. It wasn't long ago that the Bearcats said goodbye to an instrumental piece of their championship puzzle. After the 2022 season, guard Diego Bernard walked away after a storied career in green. He was an integral part of the dynastic run of Bearcat basketball as he was a member of 3 national championship teams. The best ability is availability, and Diego took that to heart as he earned NCAA Division II records in games played with 169 and games started with 157. Despite being more than capable offensive player, he sacrificed offensive production to give maximum energy on defense. Throughout his 5 years at Northwest, he managed an impressive 5 consecutive All-MIAA defensive selections and a pair of MIAA Defensive Player of the Year nods. Before we close things out, we'd like to talk about someone who shaped Bearcat culture. Richard Flanagan devoted over 2 decades to Northwest, serving for the football team as an assistant in the 70s, manning the ship as head coach of the track and field team, as well as being Northwest athletic director from 1978 to 1994. During his time as athletic director, he would bring on tennis head coach Mark Rosewell, who keeps the Bearcat culture alive today as he sets more and more records. Through and through, Flanagan defined what it meant to be a Bearcat. Though he passed away in 2014, his legacy continues to persist today. We'd like to say thank you for all the hard work. Bearcat athletics wouldn't be where it is without individuals like Flanagan. But that's all the time we have for today. I'm your host, Jason Holland, and this has been Bearcat Update, the provider of complete coverage of Northwest sports. We are live every Sunday at 2, and you can find us on YouTube at KNWT TV. Along with Bearcat Update, you can watch KNWT's other content as well. Thank you all for watching, and we'll be back in no time.